All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to WCR World Championship Ring, and we are here for round 15 of the Diamond Class race in Season 5. As you can tell by the track itself and, of course, the amazing surroundings here in Imola, we're here for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Welcome back, everyone, to this amazing track for another Grand Prix here in Imola. So, we're here at the circuit, of course, which is the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix Round 15 of the WCR Championship event. Let's talk about where we are before we get into the Grand Prix. We're here in Bologna, Italy. Imola, of course, the city is, and we're located just off the Santorino River in, of course, Imola. Fun fact about this track, Turn 11 is named after the Acqua Minerale Park, of course, the Acqua Minerale Turn. And that's a beautiful park, a beautiful mineral water park as well. So in terms of the track, we got 19 turns to make up a circuit length of 4.9 kilometers. That's 3.0 miles long. There's only one DRS zone, but that one DRS is just enough for those drivers to make a move down into the second turn at Tamburello. So with these circuit details aside, let's get into the Grand Prix at WCR. Welcome back, everyone. Smash the like button if you're enjoying the stream so far. Subscribe to whatever channel you're watching on right now. Maybe WCR YouTube or my co-commentator stream as well, or the Formula Jonah Twitch stream, which is mine, of course. So you guys can definitely do that. Follow any of those channels which you're watching on right now. But yes, as I said multiple times, we're here in WCR for the Diamond Class race in Season 5. On pole position right now is CPI 0, and let's talk about the commentary booth, because that's who you guys are probably wondering, who's the commentary booth for today's race in Imola. In the comms booth today is myself, Formula Jonah, and joining me in the commentary booth once again for another stream here at WCR is Disna Gaming. Welcome back to the commentary booth. Are you excited for this Grand Prix here in Imola?
Yes, 100%. Of course, it's qualifying and it's raining, and I like pretty much tracks which are raining because it gives us more chaos to commentate about and look at.
Yeah, you know it does. I mean, this track is very wet out there, and you mentioned that we're going to get a very interesting race as well with a lot of drivers out there that can provide some great racing out on there, and especially the conditions. Those are a huge point in today's race. What's your thoughts on them right now? It looks like the rain's starting to clear up, but what's your thoughts?
It looks like it's starting to clear up because, as I see on the the tyre screen already, Michael and Troy are already on the dry compound tyres. For example, Troy in the Ferrari's medium, and then Michael's in the softs. I don't really think they're gonna. They will probably switch again if the rain returns from its presence from the start of the qualifying session. But currently, yeah, it's already clearing up 100% because already squads is now on softs.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I think the rain is starting to go away. At the very start of this qualifying, before we get the live stream underway, it was pouring out on track, but now with 8 minutes remaining of this qualifying session in Q1, looks like the rain is starting to go away. I mean, the clouds are still very dark, and it's giving the tires a little bit more of a difficulty when it comes to drivers putting those tires on. You know, these tires are going to be very cold because of how cold it looks out on track, how dark it is out on track as well. But yeah, you mentioned that the rain is starting to go away. It looks like the rain is pretty much ended now, and so these drivers are going to start putting on the dry tires. A few drivers already looking to put on a fresh set of softs or mediums or something like that. Lights just went second fastest, so showing that the intermediates are still pretty quick. I think we're right on the crossover period, I think. So we still have some time before the softs become the faster tire, but of course Q1 we haven't seen too much action in previous sessions, of course, in a Q1 session, but now that the dry tires are starting to come into the better tire, of course, that's providing for some very interesting strategy, and we can see some drivers, some famous drivers that are usually of Q1.
Yes, 100%, it can happen, but like last time, there is 19 drivers, so there will be 4 eliminated. So currently it'd be Mick Dutchface, Troy, King David, and 8,000 RPM. But also, let's talk about King David. He got a podium last time out in Sochi. Do you think he can repeat that thing again? Well, can he just climb back like he done last time?
I think it's definitely possible. King David's got the pace to do so. You mentioned that he got a podium last time out. He very well did. I mean, that was a very, very awesome performance from the McLaren driver. The first podium for him this season as well. I think you're absolutely correct. I think he definitely can get another performance like he did previously. I think he's got the pace to do so, like we mentioned, and he could definitely go for another podium here today in Imola. But I think this topic of King David, of course, and drivers just involved in this is about the thing with penalties. That's the thing about this track, is that if we're running the strict corner cutting, and I do believe we are doing that, it's all going to be about consistency for around here. I mean, King David, very well good driver, of course, as we did mention, but one little penalty for a driver like him or someone like that that's usually fighting for the P3, that could push them down the table as well. So I think the question kind of turned into a penalty answer, but that's a big talking point in this Grand Prix as well. We could definitely take a look at the penalties as well.
That is 100% true, and I'm not going to be surprised if there's going to be at least one place grid penalty, and as last time, maybe the Red Bull curse will go on with penalties, and as squads gets fastest lap. Because if you remember in Sochi, both Red Bulls got grid penalty, but if they hold their positions but do have the 5-place grid penalty, they won't be in a like very bad position like they were in Sochi, which were both bottom of the table. Let's be honest, not very good.
Well, I mean, today they're sitting P2 and P6, so they definitely will be getting out of Q2, most likely. It's most likely they'll be getting out of Q1 and hopefully into Q3 and Q2 and all that areas. Hella High goes fastest overall. Squads and Hella High going on the soft tire, of course. Here comes Dodaligo in the Mercedes. He goes P3, puts that at 120.2. So the times are now coming in from the soft runners and all the dry compound runners. So this is quite interesting. We're seeing a lot of drivers going out on the softs and the medium tires as well. One little mistake from one driver that set a lap time on the intermediates, and they could be out of qualifying today.
Yes, that's 100% true, and also, like you said just before the race, you said to watch out for Michael, because he was saying 118s, but if he's saying 111s, did you say, right?
Yeah, I know that Michaels is pretty quick for around here. I saw that he was like a 112.7 or something like that. Now that I look back at it and remember, I think he was like something like that. Pretty quick for around here. Michaels is a driver to keep an eye on in today's race.
Yes, that's very true. And now as I go on board on 0, he crossed the line for Sector 1, which he succeeded for a fastest Sector 1. Now rounding one of the biggest penalty fares, I think, in Formula 1 history, as he crosses the line for Sector 2, and it's way quicker, almost a second quicker. I mean, it is 8/10, but if he gets invalidated, it can do a big downfall for him.
Yeah, we'll see. That is the question here, you know? I mean, if one driver is yet to set a lap time on the dry compound tires, they have one opportunity to do so, of course, and one little mistake, that could ruin their qualifying and put them out of Q1, and one little mistake for a championship contender could put them out of contention for the championship as well. This could actually change the championship. Of course, it doesn't look likely, but it's definitely possible. So we'll see how it all works out. One driver I'm curious about is Troy. Out on an out lap right now. He's basically going to have one opportunity to make a lap time here. Now, Troy has qualified up in the top 5 quite a bit in this season. Right now, he currently sits 17th with no lap time to his name. So he has to set one lap time at most to be able to get into into qualifying. So we'll see how this all works out for Troy and some other drivers as well. I think SpongeBob is another one that is usually qualifying up in the top 5. He could be up there as Game for Life, just put a P3 with a 117.6 for the Ferrari driver. That's good. So the Ferraris are setting some lap times. I think the Red Bull's about to cross the line now. I think Pro Striker in the Red Bull about to cross the line. What can he do? He goes P2, just behind Zero in the qualifying. As Hella High goes fastest. The times are coming in faster and faster. 116.0 for the Haas driver as it stands. Hella High on the fastest lap time in Q1.
Yes, but Lights gets 150.3, so this is going to get really competitive. Almost lost my voice there. As Crazy Dutchman goes 116.0. These are getting some hot lap times at King David 115.7, and Michael 115.1. Jeez, all of these laps are going in very fast. But also, once again, Shabby 2K is not participating.
Yeah, Shabby 2K, the championship contender, not participating again today. I don't believe he was in the Sochi race, and he's not here in Imola either. So unfortunate to see that, of course. He's going to have to come back at the next one and hopefully get a good result, and a really good result if he's going to stay in that championship fight. We will find out how that all works out. Troy on a lap, by the way. Keep an eye on the Ferrari driver. He has to make sure that he sets a lap if he's going to get out of Q2. Let's see, as it is a pretty good Sector 2 time for the Ferrari driver, as Josh puts it P3 on the medium compound tires. That is a very quick lap time from Josh. As we speak, the times are getting faster and faster. SpongeBob goes P3 now, a 115.6. The Mercedes driver, as there goes Lights, a 114.9. We're already dipping in to the 114s. Lights onto provisional pole position. Can Troy go faster than that? No, he puts it P4, just ahead of Josh, as Zero just puts it P3. I do believe for Williams, puts it P3 with a 115.2. Next up to the line is one of the Aston Martins. I do believe it is Dutch Face to the line. Now, what can he do? I think he stays P11. Anyone else on track? I think Clarkey has to improve. He's invalidated. He has invalidated, so it's only up to this one lap. Clarkey has to get a lap time, and Clarkey is usually a driver that is battling for P1 in a Grand Prix. So this could be him out of qualifying. This could be him out of qualifying here today, but he has to make sure that he gets a consistent lap time here, because we'll see how this all works out, because he only has just this lap to be able to set a lap time to get out of Q1 and into Q2. Anyone else you've seen on track that is improving on their times, that's down the order, that needs to get out?
I have. No, we're not really, actually, no.
All good, all good. Well, I think Deathless, Tricky, and Cartboy, P12 and P13, they're a little bit at risk. Dodoligo and Clarkey, if they improve on their time, they could be pushing Deathwish down to P15, I do believe, as that was, who just went up there? I think it might have been Troye, or no, that was the Haas, I think.
Yeah, and also Clark has just set fastest Sector 2, purple Sector 2, that is.
Ooh, okay, that's good for Clarkey. All he has to do is make sure he doesn't get validated on these last two corners. It looks like Deathwish cannot improve on his time. I do believe here comes Cartboy and Clarkey to the line. Clarkey puts it P2. Cartboy stays P13. Clarkey, very good lap time there. That puts him into Q2. And I think that is the end of qualifying with Game for Life, Dodoligo, Smurfing, and 8,000 RPM, who crashed earlier on, out of Q1, and now we head into Q2 to see if the 15 drivers and those bottom 5, of course, who will be out in Q2 next.
In my opinion, the people that might go out can one of them. I know this might be a bit crazy one, but Josh, he's only in P9 after that fabulous race in Sochi. I mean, well, you know what they say. Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be bad.
Yeah, I know. I think a few of these drivers, you know, sometimes they have good races. You know, like you just mentioned there, sometimes they have good races, sometimes they have bad races. That's just the sport, you know. That's how racing goes. You have up moments and you have down moments, and that's just how it goes in racing. And these drivers will definitely have to live through that as they go into the remainder of the season, of course. But I think one driver that's most likely not going to be feeling that today is Josh. I mean, Josh on P1, That Alpine car in Sochi, of course, won that Grand Prix. A very fantastic result for the Alpine as he took P1. And then, of course, next time in Imola here we are, I think he's going to be looking to get an even better result. Maybe another P1, maybe pole position as well. We'll have to find out how it all works out. But now we head into Q2, and now this is where it gets a little bit more exciting. And I want to get all your thoughts on this upcoming session, so just lay it down.
So, my upcoming moments is at least someone doing a big crash, possibly even a slip on a banana on the way on the track. But overall, I think it's going to be pretty much similar to Q1. Maybe Josh can do a slip and can go out, but you never know.
Yeah, we'll see how it all works out. I think this is going to be, we're going to see a few drivers spinning off. I think you are correct there. That is going to be a huge talking point in today's race, is drivers making little mistakes. You know, at certain corners, it's going to affect their end results as well. A big point in Q2, of course, viewers, if you're not very familiar with these, this style of qualifying, this format, all that sort of thing, I'll quickly explain it. So Q1, you have the bottom 5 that are eliminated. Q2, you have the bottom 5 of that session, so that would be 11th down to 15th eliminated. And in Q2 as well, we have whatever tire you qualify on in Q2, that's the tire you'll be starting on in the Grand Prix. Of course, if it's weather that has been brought into the Grand Prix, of course, we could see that, but as it looks, it will be dry conditions for the race. So what we'll see is we're going to be seeing random strategies, like a few drivers going on the mediums, which we're already seeing on track, and we'll see those drivers qualifying on the mediums. And the reason why they're doing that, of course, is so they can start on the medium tires in the Grand Prix. So just to be aware of that. And of course, Q3, we have our fastest times drivers are going to be pushing the maximum, of course, to set the fastest time in the Imola qualifying, of course. So we'll see how that all works out. But yeah, strategy is a huge point in this race as well. We'll definitely talk about that. And yeah, that's about it, you know?
Yes, that's a very 100% true. Almost everyone out on track has now V7 or just squads is now out on his lap, probably going as fast as he possibly can and scrape into a Q3. I believe for the first time. Last time he was in Haas. I believe he was reserving for Haas, and now he's reserving for Alfa Romeo. Is that correct?
Yep, you're absolutely correct. Squads is reserving as he goes purple in the first sector in the Alfa Romeo today, so he's going to be Michael's teammate. Yeah, he was reserving in the Haas team last time out in Sochi. I do believe he is a reserve driver, but he's looking really strong right now. He's been getting some really decent points in this season so far as reserve, and he's been doing a great job. So let's see what he can do, as he is flying through Aqua Minerale as we come through that chicane now.
Yes, now, but the thing is, closely behind his gearbox is Clarky, who is set to, and at least hope, to get a faster time than the Alfa Romeo there. And I won't be surprised if the Alfa Romeo can do something dirty, because in my life of commentating, usually the most dirtiest things come from the Alfa Romeo team. But the thing is, this league has proved me wrong, because in Sochi, the Alfa Romeos were completely clear and clean for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting subject, you know, to talk about. I think the Alfa Romeo drivers in most leagues I've seen have been very clean. I think every driver that I have seen in leagues has showed off their incredible performances. In today's session, we got Michael and squads and the Alfa Romeos. They're looking very clean right now, very quick, of course. 114.866 for Michael. As we know, both drivers very fast and very talented as well. So we'll see how that all works out. As a few drivers setting lap times, all on the softs, except Crazy Dutchman, who's on the medium compound tires with a 116.5, so looking pretty quick on those mediums as well. Yeah, a few drivers on the soft tires, a few setting laps as well as we head into the final remaining 10 minutes of Q2.
And as I speak, and as you spoke, Clarky got his in-lap invalidated. I mean, he is on his in-lap, And SpongeBob is out. That can cost Mercedes big time. This race, Mercedes might not even get some points this race because they're not having the greatest luck.
Yeah, that's not good, as SpongeBob, you're like you just said, just retired from the session. Unfortunate to see that from the Mercedes driver there, as he's down in P15 and will most likely be out of qualifying. Oh, that is the Aston Martin, I do believe, of Deathwish, also off the track. And I do believe that's right before Toza at turn 7 at that hairpin. It's right after the Villeneuve chicane at turn 5 and turn 6. And Deathwish has spun it. It looks like he just made a spin. It doesn't look like he hit the wall or anything like that, because it doesn't look like he has any damage there. But he is going to have to go on again if he's going to set a good lap to get into Q3.
Yes, and after Q1's performance, I will be kind of surprised if he does just scrape it into Q3, because if you remember in Q1 just now, he did not have the pace whatsoever. I believe he only finished P13 or P14, and he was down there, and he pretty much almost got thrown down if Dodoligo or one of the others didn't invalidate their lap, or Smurfing went out for his lap time. Deathwish might have possibly gone out of Q1, but you never know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it all works out. I think Deathwish Tricky is very talented, very fast as well. I've raced against him many different times. I've also commentated on him many different times in Diamond class, and he's a very talented driver, very quick as well. I think he's got the pace to make it into Q3. I think Q1, of course, it may have not been the best of sessions for him, but I think that doesn't rule out everything, you know? I mean, Q1 is a very different performance from Q3, but I think Deathwish has definitely got the pace. And let's see what he can do, as he's going to start his lap now. So let's take it on board with the Aston Martin driver. As he comes through the first turn, Tamburello, this is a very difficult section. This is turn 2, actually. There's the first turn's back there, but this is the first heavy braking zone. Very phenomenal part of the track as we exit Tamburello down to a little straight, down to the fast Villeneuve chicane, just maybe dabbing the brakes there as he come down into turn 6. Now into Toza, now a heavy braking zone as you come down into turn 7, up the hill for turn 8, flat out through here as well. A very fast point of the track as well. What is Deathwish's time in the first sector? I think it was pretty good as he comes through Piratella now. Turn 9 looking pretty good. Through Rally now, very nice cornering speed for the Aston Martin driver. This is a corner where you can lose the car very easily because the car steps out a bit. Turn 14, 15. This is a very difficult point of the track as you want to hop those curves as much as possible, but you don't want to do that because you can get an invalidation, and that's exactly what's happened to Deathwish. He just made a little mistake at that corner and unfortunately got an invalidation. Unfortunate to see that, of course, as that corner is super difficult to get right because it's so tight and the drivers don't even have enough room to go side by side at. I've never really seen a moment where they're going side by side, but that corner can be very difficult to get it all right because the car throws you towards the right of the track and throws you outside. It's a very difficult corner to get right. Unfortunately, Deathwish got that invalidation at that corner, so he's going to have to go out again to be able to make it in to Q3.
Yes, and I'm currently on board here with Zero, who just got purple sector 1, and now as he goes down that short straight for sector 2, and he sets up purple sector 2, he might be Michael's at 114.8 here. Now going down just before the final three corners, I believe this is called this is known as a corner. Now into the penultimate one, hoping for some speed. Around the final corner, he tumbles down the main straight, and he gets a 15.0, just misses out on the 114 mark.
That was a very good lap from Zero there. Did put it up into the top 3. And I think that will be safe for him to make it into Q3. Most likely he won't have to go out again. I'd say everyone down to, I'd say like from Hella High all the way down to P15 will probably have to go out again. I think Keen, David, CPI 0, Josh, and Michael won't need to go out again as their laps are pretty good as it stands. So very good lap time from ZPI 0 there as he will be P3.
Yes, that was a very, very impressive lap, as Hella High is now trying to and improve his lap time as Troy goes 5th fastest, so Hella High now needs to pick up the speed a little bit, because yes, he may be just under a second ahead of Crazy Dutchman, But sometimes Crazy Dutchman can just pull out a reverse card and go fast going into the corners, and may even go into the top 5. So as now Hella High rounds the final chicane of the lap, doesn't improve his sector 2, as now he goes down at the final 2 corners. Can he say a good one? Goes next to the gravel traps down the straight, and he's gonna set a 1:15.4, and he goes into P5, pushing down Troy into P6.
Good lap from Hella High there. That is a very good lap. I don't know if that'll be him into Q3. It's going to be a little bit touch and go, with a few drivers most likely going to be improving as well. But that was a solid lap from the Haas driver, and very, very quick there as well. Hella High, very talented as well. We've known Hella High for a very long time, as he's been very quick in today's race and throughout the season as well. Great guy as well. Just really happy to see him up there, you know. The one thing I'm a little worried about is I think Hella High down, I think those drivers might have to go again, and the one driver I'm a little worried about is Troye. I don't know if he's going to make it into Q3 on those medium compound tires, because very close to him is Clarky, who's most likely going to be improving on his time. Cartboy as well, Lights, all three most likely are going to be improving, so he's going to be right on the cutover point if he's going to be making it in on those medium compound tires. So what's your thoughts on Troy heading into Q3?
Yes, and I'm currently here on board with Crazy Dutchman, as I said earlier. He gets a faster Sector 1. I don't think enough to push down squads into the elimination zone, but still has some pace going into that going around that flat corner now into turn 9, I believe. Now turn 10. Very, very hard corner to get right, especially if you're a beginner in the F1 game, as he gets a purple Sector 2. Wow, that's an amazing purple Sector 2 there. Crazy Dutchman can actually climb up into the top 10, and can even get a confident place to stay going to Q3. You never know. Now going down the straight, he's going to cross the line. It's going to be a 1:15.4, 6th place.
That was perfect by Crazy Dutchman. That was supremely good. You know, that puts a 4th driver into the 1:15.4s. That is incredible from our drivers here today in Q2. Crazy Dutchman, that was a solid lap from the AlphaTauri driver. Puts him into P6, right behind Hella High, right above Troye. And I can confirm, Troye is on the soft compound tires. He is going out again onto the softs to secure his place in Q3. But gotta say, very good lap time from Crazy Dutchman there. You got purple in the 2nd sector. Beautiful chicane of turn 14, turn 15. That's exactly what you want to see from an F1 driver, and so it was really good from the Alpha.
Yes, and I'm currently on board here with Lights to get a purple Sector 1. Lots of purple Sector 1s and 2s I see when I commentate these drivers now as they reach the tracks of Imola and the corners, and as now he goes down into that quick first corner and then that hard braking zone. Will he muck it up? No, he won't. He will get the speed out of that corner. He gets a good jump and gets a 1 second faster Sector 2. He might even get P1 here if he has the speed to push down Michael throughout the whole lap currently.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good for Lights as he comes through with Vatsa now into turn 18. Out of the final corner, this is the zone where you can get an invalidation. It's perfect for Lights. Can he stick it on the fastest lap time here in Q2? Yes, it is. By 5/10 of a second, he goes faster than Michael. What a sensational lap time that is from Lights there in the AlphaTauri. And from down into the bottom 10, he puts it overall fastest, and just proving that Lights is definitely a contender for this championship as well.
Yes, that's 100% true, because, I mean, he always shows the speed that he has. He always knows when to do it correctly. He always knows when to perform correctly, when he wants to win a championship, when he's he's like on hold to try and get into the championship fight, as currently Shabby, Josh and Zero is. Josh and Zero mostly, because both of them separate by 2 points, which is a big shocker.
Yeah, that is very. It's a big one coming into these final few rounds of the championship. It's going to be really tight up at the top. We'll find out how that all works out. But speaking of close, look how close King David and Cartboy are. The lap time for King David, a 1:15.292. The lap time for Cartboy, a 1:15.292. They have the exact same lap time on the board. That is impressive. But King David, I think he set it later than Cartboy, and so he scores ahead of Cartboy. That is very surprising.
Yeah, that's very surprising, and that the fact that Cartboy has actually scraped in and beaten his teammate. That's gonna fit into Hella High's head, thinking, "Oh, I think I'm not really confident with this position now because everyone's right behind me."
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where these drivers are at this time. A very interesting session we just had there as everyone is done with Q2. It looks like that is our grid. By just, by 1/10 of a second, Clarky makes it into those positions as Troye goes P2. I gotta say, though, I don't think he needed to set that lap time. He probably would have qualified on the medium tires. He would have been P9, but he still decided to qualify on the softs, and that's going to be good for him as he's going to go P2 in this race, so that'll be good. But yeah, the drivers that are out of qualifying are SpongeBob, who retired earlier on, Deathwish, Squads, Pro Striker, and Dutchface. Both Aston Martins out, 1 Red Bull out, 1 Alfa Romeo, and 1 Mercedes out of Q2 as we head into the final session of qualifying.
Yes, and I'm expecting lots of good qualifying laps like we had in Russia. Lots of action it was in qualifying, and we almost killed our own breaths last time, so let's hope that won't happen again, because otherwise I need to get a full-on glass of water.
Yep, we'll see how it happens, you know? I mean, the qualifying sessions in WCR are, I'd say, probably the best sessions I've ever commentated on in qualifying, you know? I mean, we expect the race to be astonishing, which it truly is each time, but the qualifying session is something to look forward to, guys. I mean, it's always intense because there's so many drivers who are fighting for pole position. It's just incredible. There's no words to really describe how much emotions go into that Q3 session. It's just incredible to see.
Yes, it is actually very incredible to see, and also, as it was pointed out into the general chat of WCR, 8 different constructors are in Q3.
You're right. Yep, there's only 2 constructors that are not in Q3, and that's Mercedes and Aston Martin. The rest all into qualifying. That is very surprising there.
Yes, and also looking at the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes aren't doing the best here because both of them out in Q2 and Q1, sorry, and they are fighting for P1 in the Constructors' Championship, and the gap's by 14 points. Yep, 14 points.
Yeah, that's the thing is that I think it's because Jake Saber and Shabby 2K aren't here today. I think both drivers were consistently grabbing podiums and wins. I remember earlier on in the season, they were the top 2 in the races. They were the ones that everyone else was looking to beat. It was always a fight between, I think it was Troye, Gurman, Lights, Shabby 2K, Zero, Josh. All those drivers were always battling for the wins and stuff like that. But Mercedes, I think that their 2 drivers haven't been able to show up to the last 2 Grand Prix, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm sure they'll be back for the next one. We'll see how that all works out in due time. But that championship is super close. We'll have to see how it all works out as we head into the final qualifying session of WCR.
Yes, and now everyone is now out on track, and the first one to settle up will be Cartboy, currently in the championship, sitting. No, he's just reserving for. Looks like here he's reserving And he's hoping for a good lap. Josh and Zero, both championship contenders, behind him. Then Troy, currently 5th in the Constructors' Championship. Michael currently at the bottom. I don't think he has participated as much in that Alfa Romeo. But, oh! And it's Michael, he's had a spin into the wall there. That is very bad news there for Alfa Romeo, because he was already having the pace going into the first chicane.
Oh, and that's also Lights that's just spun off at the same corner. Lights spun off at the exit of Tamburello, so 2 contenders for pole position have messed up their laps. Michael and Lights there, both spinning off.
Yes, and if Lights needs a crucial win, or at least a crucial position, if he wants to get into the championship fight. I mean, he is 63 points away, and that is with still a handful of rounds to go. It can still be a good fight here. Okay, I'm struggling for breath here.
All good? Yeah, I think these drivers, they have a lot of time to go. You know, there's a lot more championship points to grab in the season. I think a lot of drivers will be looking for that. Huge championship fight for the drivers and constructors as well. It's looking really close. So, right now, the first times are coming in. Josh puts it with a 114.3, Clarky a 114.4, and Troy a 114.7. I've said 114 like almost 400 times there, but that's all good now. So, looks like Zero and Hella High. I think Zero's actually on an invalid lap time. Hella High's still on a lap time, so the 96 Haas car will be looking to cross the line and set maybe another 114, so I'll have to say 114 for the 400th and first time. But yeah, here comes the Haas driver. Round Rivazza, we go into turn 18. Round that corner, of course, which is turn 18. Into the final turn at turn 19. DRS enabled. Get as close as you can to the wall. And Hella High puts it P6, a 115.422. So the Haas driver puts it up into the top 6. Both Haas's into the top 6, which is good there. And what's interesting is that Michael, Lights, and Zero, actually 3 contenders for pole position usually, all made little mistakes on their laps and will have to go again. So they're going to have pretty much only one opportunity to set pole position. But it looks like Zero is actually going to go out for another lap. I think Lights, Michaels, I'm not sure about Michaels. Actually, Michaels is on a lap now, it looks like. Yeah, he actually is on a lap now. So Zero's on a lap, Lights will most likely go on a lap, and it looks like Michaels is about to come across the line. Let's see what he can do. As he comes to the line now, puts a P3 at 114.7, and he's just a little bit down off of Josh. They're 4/10 behind the Alpine, who grabbed the win last time out in Russia. But I think he'll be looking to improve on that time, Michaels will be, and so we'll see how that all works out. But are you seeing any more drivers on track, or anything you want to talk about before the drivers head into the pit lane and get ready for their final time to settle up?
I'm currently on board here with Zero, rounding one of the hardest corners of the track there. He's going to cross the line for Sector 2, hoping for a good one, and he gets a purple Sector 2. He can push down his championship rival Josh. He just doesn't want an invalidated lap time.
Yeah, we'll see how this all works out. Zero needs to get ahead of Josh, though. That is critical for him for this championship, and you are definitely correct. I think Lights is also going to need to get up there as well. But let's see what Zero can do. He's just coming around the final turn now. What can his lap be? He puts it P3 ahead of Michael with a 114.6, 3/10 down off of Josh. But those tires are a little bit older than the Alpine, so that makes sense why he's a little bit down. That's quite surprising that he's able to grab that time. So that just shows that Zero and Michael as well have the pace to be able to grab for pole position. It's all going to be about that final run at the end of this qualifying.
Yes, that is very, very true. Now, no one really on lap times here. Mike on an invalidated one, probably going to eye himself into the pits, as Josh is currently on his out lap, going into Sector 2, now into the Sector 3 bunch. And he's hoping to run away from Clarky, because it is a pretty small gap, let's be honest. I mean, 506 thousandths, that's pretty close, let's be honest. That's pretty much half a front wing.
Yeah, it is. That's very surprising, you know. We'll see how this all works out. it's going to be interesting to see what these drivers can do. I think Zero and Michaels will be looking to go out for another lap. Same with Lights as well. I think it's going to be very interesting. Also, while Josh is on a lap here, while we can, I wanted to read a few of those comments that were coming in. I know you guys have been commenting, but we haven't really found the time to actually answer a lot of those comments. I saw a comment coming in from, I do believe that's Lights, in the comments down below. He says he's getting pole position. He sounds very confident with that one, and to be honest, he's got the pace to do so, and my money's on Lights, to be honest. My money is on Lights that he'll grab pole today. Who's your prediction, maybe? Who do you think is going to be grabbing pole?
It's probably going to be Josh, Lights, and possibly Zero if he comes out at the right time, just enough time to set a lap time. Same goes for Clarky and for Michael. Maybe King David, maybe he can do what he done in Q1, which is basically being pretty much far behind on the table wise and just jump up into a good position.
Yeah, those are great predictions. You know, who knows who could be able to grab a great result in today's race, who could be grabbing pole position. It's a true honor to grab pole here in Imola. There is a topic I want to talk about pole position, but we'll talk about that once Q3 is over, because we just have a few minutes remaining of this session. While me and my co-commentator have given our predictions, you guys can also do so by commenting down below in the live streams right now. You guys can give your predictions. Who do you think is going to be grabbing pole position for the WCR Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix? Who will start on pole position? Could it be Josh? Could it be Clarky? Zero? Michael? Could it be Troy? Or maybe Lights just sitting P10? Or someone else that I did not mention there? Who could be grabbing pole? Let us know down in the comments below. And if you guys have any questions as well for us, please comment down below as well. We'll try and respond to those as much as possible. Of course, we're commentating. We're quite busy, of course. But we will try and answer all your questions down below. So definitely go do that, guys, if you feel like you want to. So we got 2 minutes and 55 seconds remaining of the Q3 session. It looks like everyone's going out on track. So what should we talk about right now?
I don't really know what to talk about right now, but currently only Zero, Michael, and two other drivers. Lights, the crazy Dutchman. Lights just came out of his garage, and Josh just comes out. The McLaren of King David just has been let go, and there's nothing currently really to commentate until they get onto their laps.
Well, it looks like Michael's on a lap now, so I'm curious to see what he's going to be doing. The Alfa Romeo coming through Tamburello now, looking pretty fast. Oh my goodness, he's absolutely flying through Tamburello. His grip on those tires is incredible. He must be running a really low downforce setting, but it looks like he's fast on the straights as well. Through the Villeneuve chicane, just flying by. I almost have to like say these words really fast, because he's like a rocket ship down these certain corners here. He's absolutely flying through these sections. As we come through Piratella now, he just points that car in the direction. Oh, as he gets an invalidation! Michael gets an invalidation on the exit of Piratella, and that is a nightmare for the Alfa Romeo, as he just went a little bit too wide at Piratella, and unfortunately that is an invalidation. That could be the end of Michael's chances for getting pole position. Of course, he is going to have that opportunity again to set a lap time, but it is going to be close with the tire degradation that he might have.
Yeah, and also, if you saw in the YouTube chat, I put in something, but also Zero is now speeding down into the corner that Michael got invalidation. Will he follow? No, he won't. He does go wide, but he did have a weird switcheroo of gears, pretty much a lag out of gears, pretty much. So, basically a gearbox cut.
Well, he is on his oh, and he's invalidated that time. He is invalidated that time. He just hopped that curb too much there at the entrance of at that corner there, the chicane, and that is unfortunate for Zero there. As wow, oh, that's super unfortunate for Zero. He's gonna have to go out again. He should have the opportunity to do so. Oh, as Michaels is off. Michael off the track at the Villeneuve chicane. That is it for Michael. He is not going to be on pole, and he's going to be down in P4 at least there, or at most, sorry. The Alfa Romeo down in P4 at this time. That's unfortunate, of course, but that's the way it goes in racing. We'll see how that all works out. Anyone on a lap that you're seeing that is looking to improve on their time right now?
Yes, currently it is King David. He's speeding down one of the most hardest corners of the track. He goes a bit wide, maybe a tyre bit there, but luckily no invalidation. He gets just a bit faster on his sector 2 there. Looks to be faster than Zero currently, because as just before Zero goes invalidation. Ooh la la, what a lap.
Brilliant. Sorry to interrupt you there, but yeah, Lights just went pole.
Earlier when you mentioned Michael has a rocket ship, this is why I wanted to say, even if you put a rocket ship, you'll still be P11.
Famous Fernando Alonso quote there, right?
Yes.
Well, here comes Troy to the line. Can he stick it on pole? No, it's just by 1/10. He misses out on pole position. Hella high to the line now. Oh no, he's invalidated his time, so he's not going to be improving. And with a snap of our fingers, qualifying is over. Lights, who we guessed could be getting pole position, has done so. And in the chat earlier on, he said he will be getting pole position, and you know what's just happened? Lights has actually done that. He sounded pretty confident in that chat, and it makes sense now. He has grabbed pole position for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Troy will line up alongside him with Josh in P3, Clarkey in P4.
Yeah, that's very good news for the AlphaTauri driver Lights, who is supposedly falling back from the championship fight. Now if he's going to hold it for the rest of this race, he's going to really take a step into the fight there. But Troy also going to have a chance to get a step into the championship, which is pretty good for the two drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're definitely correct there. I think Lights and Troy have a huge shot now with that performance in the qualifying session. They have a huge shot of taking some good points in today's race off their rivals and maybe put them higher up in that championship to be fighting for that world championship. Of course, it's going to be very interesting, but that is the grid for Q3. That's the grid for, of course, the Grand Prix. Lights on pole here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Troy in P2 with Josh rounding off the grid in P3.
It's going to be a good performance here from every single driver.
Oh, it's raining.
Oh, it's going to be wet. It's wet because I mean, on my screen, there's literally a big puddle in the pits. Do you see that?
Yeah, I'm on the exact same phrase there. That there is a giant puddle in the pit lane, and that's not just one puddle. There is many puddles on track, viewers, as this is full rain out on track. I'm surprised that we didn't get any info on that. I thought we knew it was dry. I'm not sure why there was no info on that, but the game doesn't allow for that. But of course, it is a wet qualifying session, a massively wet qualifying session. But as we get into a very surprising grid for the Grand Prix, oh, sorry, were you going to say something?
Yeah, you mixed up qualifying with race.
Oh, did I? Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting race. There we go. With the wet qualifying there. Thank you so much for correcting me there. Oh, that's interesting. The predicted pit stop strategy powered by AWS says that you could go wet to the end of the Grand Prix.
I mean, it is pretty much basing to real life, because if you remember Esteban Ocon in the Turkish Grand Prix, he actually never pitted he was on the intermediates the whole race. So if intermediates can go a whole race, a 50 something lap race around Turkey, surely a wet tire can do the same thing, just around just a bit more just less laps. Jesus, what's going on with me today? Can't speak.
Well, yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. I think the race that Esteban Ocon had in the real-life Turkish Grand Prix proved that the tires can go to the end of the Grand Prix, and that can definitely happen here today. That's what the predicted pit stop strategy says, so we will find out how that works out. So let's do the rundown of the grid. Lights on pole for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Can he hold it? We will find out. Troy in P2 for Ferrari. Josh in P3, looking down at the rest of the grid. Clarkey alongside the Alpine on the second row of the grid. CPI 0 in contention with Josh for that championship fight. Lines up alongside Michael in the Alfa Romeo Tomato starting P6. The Haas driver, Kart Boy, is in P7 with King David, the McLaren driver who grabbed the podium last time out in Sochi, starts P8. Hella High in the Haas car starts P9 with Crazy Dutchman rounding off the top 10. And then we got McDutchface, Pro Striker, Squads, Death Was Tricky, SpongeBob, Game for Life, Dodoligo, Smurfing, and 8,000 RPM lining up at the back of the grid. So, the interesting thing about turn 1, as you can see, an onboard of lights, it's pointed towards the grandstand. It's actually not even pointed towards the actual track itself. We will find out how that all works out. But guys, grab a snack, grab some popcorn or something like that, some water or something like that. Sit back, relax, and let's watch this Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix get underway.
Is it okay I can take away the start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So as now, everyone is now on the grid, and it's gonna be... Come on. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we are racing. And it's a big getaway there for light. Troy shortly behind. It's going to be 3 wide. Josh takes the lead. Light gets pushed back into P3. Troy, but it goes back into P2. Light, it's going to be a big fight here for P1. Going into the first chicane. It's side by side between the second and third place of Troy and Light. Light is it's in P2 as one goes wide. That's Michael. That's a big slip for him. As now the grid's starting to shape up. And one man's lagged out, and that is Smurfing. I think he's lagged out. And currently the top 5 is Josh, then Lights, then Troy, then Clarky, then Cartboy, with King David shortly behind.
Wow, what a great start that was to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. A few action points in the Grand Prix. What a great start from Josh. He totally did a Max Verstappen and then just took the race to the lead. It looks like he started maybe on the second gear maybe. Got a great start and then just went up into P1 as Michael is out of the race at Piratella. It has not been the greatest start for Michael. He has caused the virtual safety car to now come out on track. Michael down to P19. There was contact, I do believe, at the start, and possibly with CPI 0, who's down to P10. He has lost 5 positions from that. But Michael's out of the Grand Prix. Super unfortunate to see that, of course, but that is the way it goes. But gotta say, great start. Also, great commentary on that start as well. You did a great job there.
Thanks. Thank you very much. And as this VSC is starting to shape up, going down into the middle of the track, middle of the fate of the table, there's gonna be some good fights, as you can see here. Like Smurfing's gonna have a move on Dodoligo, maybe Squads and SpongeBob, 0 on Dutchman, David on Cartboy. Is gonna be a big lots of chaos there on the restart.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I think we're going to get a huge restart. We're going to get a lot of drivers moving up and down the field. It's going to be a really, really interesting one. I think these guys are going to have a lot of fun out on track. The question is, when will this VSC end? That is the question. There we go. The F1 gods have answered my question. As I say, the VSC, when is the VSC going to end? It ends right immediately when I say that. So Josh leads away by a 1.8 second gap to Lights, who's now down to P2. Troy in P3 now. The Ferrari driver slipping down the grid a little bit, I gotta say, as Clarky starting to gain a little bit on Troy. Now, remember, viewers, there is no DRS that is enabled for these drivers. It's all old-fashioned racing and, of course, pure skill, as the drivers have to manage these very terrible conditions out on track, as the wet tires can be very treacherous, and these wet conditions, of course, can be very difficult to manage with those tires. It is a very difficult circuit out on track. Ooh, what's happening?
So Crazy Dutchman and 0 were both fighting going into to that park chicane, and just when Crazy Dutchman was trying to come back from his move, 0 shuts the door on him, but he didn't know that the tyre was still in line with the rear tyre, and I think he done that on accident. I don't think he really mean to spin Dutchman round. I think there might be some fighting. Hopefully there. Oh, my mic. Hopefully there's gonna be they're all gonna be calm and it's gonna be fine, because it looks like he didn't mean to do it.
Yeah, all good. You know, racing incidents do happen. It's all good. Things do happen in racing, and that's the way it goes. So, that is Hella High that has lost the car, I do believe, at the Vilnius chicane. What happened there to the Haas driver? There is a lot of contact going on there. I think that might have been a glitch, though, between the CPI 0 and Pro Striker.
So hard.
same here. I think it says that Dutchman and 8,000 RPM are P1 and P2, but I think that is incorrect there.
Yeah, Josh is P1, Light is P2. Deathwish, like, Michael was 19th as normal. But if I remember, 8,000 RPM was last in P18 and Dutchman was 17th. So just a game glitch, probably going to be fixed. What's happened?
Sorry to interrupt you there, but I think Josh has just made a mistake. I think Lights is right in the back of the Alpine. There's something that's happened there to the race leader, as I think he spun off at the chicane. Not exactly sure, but the AlphaTauri has now catched right up to the back of the Alpine. We could see a too-wide moment for the race lead on lap 3. Let's see. Lights is closing on the Alpine as we come down to turn 2. Tamburello now. Are we going to see a side-by-side action? Yes, we are, as Lights down the inside of the Alpine. Is it going to work out? Oh, there's a little bit of contact between the two there, as Lights is forced off the track, it looks like, a little bit, as Josh gets up into P1 of the Grand Prix. I think there's a little bit of glitching going on as drivers are setting fastest laps off and on. Something's going on there, but I think it's all good now. But there was a little bit of contact going on with Lights and Josh there.
Yeah, I did see that, and great. The game's glitching again, as Lights is now starting to slowly catch up to. No, he isn't. What the hell is going on with my game? I feel like my game's
I have no
about to
idea.
crash.
It's not just your game; it's my game too. It's something's definitely not right here. It just said that Deathwish Tricky just got a 5-second time penalty for, I think it said, gaining 4 positions, even though he's really far down the grid, I'd say. He's not even close to those drivers. What has just happened here? But, and now he doesn't have the penalty. What is going on? I've absolutely no idea, but lap 4 seems to be cursed on the F1 game. It looks like Deathwish and Crazy Dutchman had to pit. Not sure what's going on, but they will definitely be fighting through the field, and they'll be coming back and looking to get a good result in this Grand Prix. I really hope they do so. But up at the front, it looks like everything has sorted itself out. We are all good there. Josh now in P1 by an 8/10 gap off of Lights, who sets the purple sector in Sector 3 as well, as Zero sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Very surprising from the Williams driver, and that's great to see. Of course, reason why I said surprising because he's in a lot of traffic, so that means he's taking advantage of those drivers ahead and maybe using them as slipstream. Quite interesting. But I think we have Big Dutch Face on squads right now. The Aston Martin right in the back of the Alfa Romeo, coming down into the exit of Tamburello as we come down into the Villeneuve chicane now. Squads ahead of Big Dutch Face as we come down to that section. It looks like the squads will keep ahead.
Yes, and that was a very good fight, as you just commentated, as Zero is now trying to make a move on King David, and Game for Life is also trying to make a move on Smurfing, but Smurfing is disconnected, so that's kind of irrelevant because he's going to get an easy overtake. As Zero is trying his hardest to catch up to the McLaren, and one of the quickest McLarens in the business since the Sochi Grand Prix.
Yeah, this is a very interesting fight for P6, you know. I mean, King David with that podium last time out, looking to get another possibly one. We'll see how that all works out. It looks like SpongeBob just got a penalty. What happened to the Mercedes driver? Where even is he on the grid? Oh, he's P9. Sorry, I did not find him on the grid, but he's P9. Looks like there was a 3-second time penalty at that corner as Lights. That's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He is absolutely flying, so keep an eye on that AlphaTauri, too. He is getting very close to Josh. We could see a nice little battle for P1, like earlier, but now in the next few laps. Is Zero going to try and make the move on King David, as that is Game for Life, that has just spun off there, and that is a full course safety car that has been deployed.
Yeah, and that's just ruined a great commentating scene I was about to commentate when I was about to pause, because Light was just about to shape up for a move into the Villeneuve chicane on Josh.
Ooh, yeah, that's really affected that, you know. I mean, that would have been a great battle to witness there. Unfortunately, that is put on pause and been postponed for the time being, as Josh will lead us away with the safety car now being out on track. That is very surprising. And that, I do believe, was because Game for Life spun off at turn 19 after the Rivazza section at turn 17 and turn 18, it looks like. So Game for Life off the track. He's going to be rejoining in P16, so that'll be good there. Everyone will rejoin this pack. This is allowed for 8,000 RPM, Game for Life, Crazy Dutchman, and Deathwish to be able to get up to the field now and put them back into the fight for the points. That'll be great to see them back there.
Yes, that is very, very good. And because it's a safety car, it's gonna be a whole full-on night race to where I am because it's full-on dark.
Yeah, it seems like it's Oh, are you saying it's night over there?
It is.
Gotcha. Yeah, these drivers are racing in the night. It is a little bit of a different, they're racing in the night over in Europe, if I'm not mistaken, and they're racing in a little bit of a light track, in the day. Of course, I don't know exactly what time zone it is over there, as I'm over in California. So back over to everyone. It looks like Dodaligo, SpongeBob, and Clarky all into the pit lane. That is very surprising. Double stack at Mercedes going on as well. You can see that in the background. Riding on board with Clarky. Hella high. We'll move up into P11. Clarky down to P12 now. SpongeBob and Dodaligo still in that double stack pit stop. Unfortunate to see that, of course, but that is the way it goes in racing. As it won't affect too much, I don't believe. It's a pretty long double stack for the Mercedes crews. Dodaligo will come out of the pit lane now, and most likely will be behind Game for Life. If I'm not mistaken, maybe behind the AlphaTauri Crazy Dutchman. Not exactly sure about that one. But back to the race leaders. Josh has caught up to the safety car, and he's catched up with the rest of the field as well to that safety car. Everyone will be probably under safety car conditions for the next 2 laps or so. So we'll get a short break before we get commentating once again on the rest of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix.
Thank God, because I still have a cup of water right next to me, and I wish I had a bigger glass, literally.
Yeah, stay hydrated,
Die. My throat's gonna die at the end of this.
Yeah, well, when you're commentating, you need to stay hydrated. That's a big thing. I always have a cup of water. Unfortunately, I don't have any more water left because I drank it all, but all good there. So we are now on lap 7. Josh leads the Grand Prix with an amazing start off of lights, and who was it? Who was the second driver? I think it was Troy. Yeah, it was Troy. So Josh now leads, of course, on lap 7. The Alpine driver looking for a second win in the last 2 Grand Prix of back-to-back wins. This will be if he takes the crown here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. We will find out how that all works out when we get racing underway back here in Italia. So before we get all that underway, I just want to say thank you to all the viewers that have joined us in the stream. You guys are awesome as always. Keep sharing these streams to your friends and anyone that wants to listen to the commentary. We'd highly appreciate that, of course. Get the stream out there, get the league out there as well. I'm sure you guys are probably interested in maybe joining the league. If you guys are interested, definitely comment down below. I'm sure the admins will be watching this, of course, and they'll be looking for any of those comments. Also, thank you guys just for watching. Just want to say that. Like the stream if you're enjoying. Subscribe to the channels, whatever channel you're watching on. It may be my co-commentator's channel, the WCR channel, or the Formula John Twitch channel as well. But yeah, gotta say, guys, stick around for, if you can, the entire race, because it's going to be an amazing one. And yeah, if you guys want to check out more commentary, definitely subscribe to the WCR YouTube channel if you want to see more commentary on this league, and subscribe to the personal channels of our commentators, of course, myself and my co-commentator, Snug Gaming, of course. So definitely go do all of that. So let's get this race underway, and while we have the time, what do you want to talk about?
I really want to talk about Troy, as he is closely catching up to Lights. It depends on what start he's going to get. Hopefully he's going to get a good one, so we can jump up into P2. And that's not really anything I can say about currently, as I think the safety car is gonna go out for 1 more lap, I believe.
Yes, it is 1 more lap. Another little point that we should probably talk about is King David into the pit lane. Now, I just realized this, that it looks like Clarky, SpongeBob, and Dodaligo, and now King David all pit for the intermediate compound tires. They're thinking it is time for the intermediate, so that is quite interesting. Going back to what you were saying as well with Troye, great to see him up there. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do, sitting P3 as it stands. So going to be great. But I want to get your thoughts on those drivers that just pit for the intermediates. Do you think it is time for those drivers to pit on the intermediates, and is it starting to get less of rain out there on track?
I am not really sure. let's be honest, but so far, Prima, I'll say that as a yes.
Gotcha. Okay, so you think that the intermediates are the faster tire than the wets at this point?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so we'll see how that all works out. As you heard from our commentator in the booth, the intermediates should be faster, and I totally have to agree with him, you know? As it seems like a few other drivers are also thinking the same exact thoughts. So, and speaking of those drivers, we got to talk about them. I think Clarky, SpongeBob, right now, they're in the best position because they're on the intermediate compound tires. Everyone else is on the wets. Now, if they are able to, if this intermediate strategy works out for them, they could be up in P1 and P2. I'm serious about that, guys. I think they could be in P1 and P2 by the end of this, but we will find out how it all works out. It's all about that safety car restart, as finally the safety car is going to get underway, and Josh will lead us away. Now, this is the big question. Where will Josh go? Where will he go at the exit of Rivazza? Maybe later? What's your thoughts?
He's probably going to go a bit later because Rivazza's going to be a bit too early because, as we know, the straight from that final corner is a bit far away. As already, straight off the bat, Light is going to now pull out to the left here. Around the outside, he's going to go on Josh. Hopefully, it's going to be clean races. It's a big contact. Oh. And Light goes into the grass, but that's going to be a bit of a controversial one in the appealing booth.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much, I'd say. I think Josh just didn't leave a lot of space for Lights on the left-hand side. Quite surprising, to be honest, but that is the way it goes in racing. It looks like Lights was, it did get up into P1, Josh down to P2, but there was contact between the two there, and unfortunately that lost out to Josh. So that's the way it goes. You know, racing can be cruel sometimes, but they'll be good. Josh will be coming back at Lights very shortly, and we'll see a nice little battle for P1.
Yeah, that's gonna pretty much eye up our breathing abilities, but still, it's gonna be a good fight to commentate on, and I need to save some energy because I'm going to swimming tomorrow, so hopefully that's gonna be I'm gonna have some fun then.
Yeah, save your energy. You know, we'll get the point to commentate on this historic battle in Imola, of course. One thing to mention as well is WCR, this is the first time we are doing Imola in the leagues because, of course, this is the brand new track that is coming to the game. Another track that is coming very shortly is, King David, and, wait, hold on a second. I will come back to that in a little bit because Pro Striker has just spun it with the wet tires as everyone is pitting for the intermediates. I'll come back to what I was saying in a little bit. But this has really changed the race. Clarky and SpongeBob now up into P2 and P3 as everyone pits for the intermediates except Cartboy. Everyone in on the intermediates, so this is huge coming into the lap 11.
Yes, it is actually very, very huge, and it can make a big difference here in the race.
Super big. You know, this is massive for all these drivers out on track. Clarky and SpongeBob now have almost an 11-second lead over the rivals that just pit. That is a very, very good lead for them. But it looks like Cartboy still stays out. Clarky and SpongeBob, that strategy absolutely worked out for them. Same with Dodaligo and King David. All four have now moved up into second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Yes, that is actually very good for them. And if Clarky's going to have the pace and he's going to make a move on Cartboy and does it perfectly as everyone's on the intermediates. Cartboy currently the odd one out in this group, well, other than Michael, but he's already DNF'd. But Cartboy is the only one currently on the old wets.
Yes, he is the only one, and right now you can see that he's struggling quite a bit with these wets. It's definitely time for the intermediates, and even we could see time for the soft tires in just a little bit of time. Cartboy will most likely come into the pits as he does that as we speak. And King David will now move up into P3, exactly where he finished in the race just a race ago in Sochi. So King David might be able to grab another podium, back-to-back podiums for King David, it could be, as that is Pro Striker that has spun off again at Aqua Minerale, it looks like, exit of turn 13.
Yes, and that is going to pretty much cost a bit of points for himself and his constructor team. And can cause a big effect on them.
Yes, that will be very difficult to witness. You know, I think that'll hurt him a little bit, but of course it won't be the biggest deal. You know, I think it will be a little bit of a. It will be hard for him, of course, to come back to the field, but I think he's got the opportunity to do so. We know Pro Striker is very quick, a very quick driver. We've commentated on him before, raced with him as well. Yeah, he's been very quick so far in this race, and he's got the opportunity to come back to the field. So we will see how that works out. But on lap 12, the ultimate strategy of pitting under the safety car into the intermediate tires has worked out for the 4 drivers who now sit 1, 2, 3, and 4. Clarky in P1, SpongeBob in P2, King David in P3, Dodoligo in P4, and Lights, who is leading the Grand Prix, is now in P5.
Yes, and that's going to cause lots of malfunction in the strategies and can change the whole thing.
Yes, that will affect the strategies as well. Of course, everyone pitting for the intermediate tires, this could really... I mean, this has already actually happened. This has affected their end result to the Grand Prix. It's all about their laps now. As Lights, that's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So I think he's got the chance for this one. He's got the chance to come back and try and overtake Clarky and SpongeBob and King David, Dodoligo, all those drivers to be able to get up there. But we have CPI 0 on Dutchface looking round the outside, possibly Tamburello. He's going to go. Dutchface goes defensive into turn 1. 0 looking for the double switchback maneuver, basically maybe a third switchback. He's got the better speed. Dutchface defends the inside. Here comes 0 round the outside at the Villeneuve chicane, and the Williams driver is up into P8, but Dutchface comes back, goes for the switchback maneuver, and under braking as well, kind of like a Daniel Ricciardo move on Sebastian Vettel back in Italy 2014, if I'm not mistaken. Dutchface down to P9 now, CPI 0 up to P8 as Cartboy and Hella High swap positions there. They're going to go side by side, possibly down into Piratella. Doesn't look like it. Cartboy stays ahead of Hella High for now, and the Haas swap positions as well. A lot of overtakes going on lap 13.
Yes, and that is very, very true. And I probably have to go soon.
Okay, so you have to head out, is that what you said?
Yeah, in like half an hour I have to head out, so...
All good, all good. Yeah, I'm not sure if the race will be finished by then. We'll see how that all works out. But, yeah, we'll have you as long as possible. Of course, it's been a pleasure to commentate with you, and we'll see how it all works out, you know?
Yeah, that's very, very true.
Okay, yeah, if you need to go, just let me know, and, yeah, we can, go from there. So, what are you seeing on track right now?
I'm currently seeing not really a fight shaping up because one's disconnected, but Crazy Dutchman is actually starting to go behind, he's starting to pull away, well, pretty much being held back by Smurfing, because he's not really affiliating that gap, because it's not really been with him.
Well, Crazy Dutchman, as Smurfing, who's AI right ahead of him, he's most likely going to get past there. So it shouldn't affect him too much, I'd say, except visibility. That can kind of affect a few drivers, you know, with the AI ghost car. You know, that could be quite difficult. I'm sure you've raced before and had that, like an AI car right ahead of you. It could be a little bit like, just get out of my way, I want to race, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And there's a fight for points here shaping up. Cartboy is catching up to squads here. It was 1 second, it was a second gap just earlier. Now it's 3/10 now, so that's going to be a nice fight to commentate on.
Very interesting. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And actually, we might be able to commentate on now as 0 says the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. You're right. Cartboy is gaining a lot of time on squads here. He might have the opportunity down to Tamburello. Maybe go for like what 0 did. Maybe go for the closing zone. Maybe go for some switchback maneuvers possibly, and then make the move at the Villeneuve chicane. It looks like they got pretty equal exits out of that corner. Yeah, it's pretty equal exits, so I don't think Cartboy's going to make the overtake at this time, unless he's going to make it into Toza or maybe Aqua Minerale or something like that. But for right now, Cartboy has to stick behind us. Oh, Dodoligo's out of the race!
Oh, that's going to be a bad thing for Dodoligo and for Mercedes, because, yes, SpongeBob might be in P2, but Dodoligo now is going to cost at least some points for the team.
Yeah, and it's super unfortunate. Of course, Liga was up in P4, you know? I mean, the Mercedes were looking pretty good in that race. Of course, both, if I'm not mistaken, aren't... I think that one of them is reserve, if I'm not mistaken. One of them might be full-time. I can't remember exactly, but, yeah, I mean, they were scoring points for Mercedes there. That was looking pretty good for them, but unfortunately, it just didn't really work out for Liga. Crashed out of Piratella. That brings out the second safety car of this afternoon here today. SpongeBob in P3 now, and the Mercedes will, because he's pitting, surprising to be honest, he is pitting. He's going to go to the end of the race, most likely on these intermediate tires. He's going to be faster, but he's going to lose a lot of pace to the rest of the field. But this has allowed Josh and Lights and everyone who pit later on to catch back up to the drivers that pit under the first full course safety car. So this is quite interesting here. We could see a nice little battle here between between Lights, Josh, Clarky, and King David here. That's going to be quite interesting if that works out.
Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting fight, and once again, King David might even challenge for, once again, another podium, which can really help out the McLaren team there.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how it works out. I think there's a few drivers still yet to pit in the Grand Prix. Of course, what I mean by that is that Clarky, I don't know if he's going to be able to make it into to the end of the race on these tires. I mean, he should make it, but he's going to be those tires are going to be really degraded at the end of this. So we'll see how that works out too. But I think it is going to be interesting, that battle for P2, it looks like, and P1 basically. Lights trying to challenge King David, who's looking for that second podium this season, and of course. Back-to-back podiums it would be. I do believe it would be his second podium in Diamond class. He picked up his first at the Russian Grand Prix. Of course, King David previously was a Golden class racer in the second division, which I do believe disbanded just a few races ago. But of course, will be most likely coming back next season. But yeah, King David now in Diamond class looking for that second podium here in Imola. We will find out if that works out. But it is going to be a very fascinating race towards the end of these few laps remaining of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix.
Yeah. Dobra. Dobrze. No, będę pamiętał.
Alright, so Clarky leads us away by King David and Lights, P1 and P2 and P3. What are you seeing on track right now?
Żadne nie są za mnie za małe, mamo. Nie. Sorry.
All good, all good.
So SpongeBob is now probably going to get a good start. We have seen SpongeBob starts. They are pretty on point for a racing league like this, so basically very good. Welcome.
Yeah, you know, it will be interesting to see what he can do. He's P7 right now in the Grand Prix, and he might be able to grab some good points in today's good race. It looks to be for SpongeBob as he's on these fresh new intermediate tires, as you mentioned. Cartboy on the medium tire. He has chosen to go for the dry compound tires, which is very interesting. I don't know if that'll work out though.
It can possibly work out. I mean, there is still drops of rain being poured down onto the racetrack, but also, I'm not really feeling the dry compound tyres yet. And also, oh, I forgot to say something. Oh, damn it, I forgot to say something. Yep, he's ready, and yep, Cartboy's ready, slipping about.
Yeah, it's just not working out, you know. He's really, it's being really difficult to come on the power there. I think he's going to have to pit for the intermediates. It's just not time for the dries at this stage in the Grand Prix. I think you're absolutely correct there. He's going to be struggling with those mediums, I think, for a while if he's going to stay on them. Let's see. Is he going to come into the pit lane? No, he stays out. Very bold and a huge risk that could work out. It could not as well. It looks like it's not really working out right now, but maybe it could work out later on. Let's find out.
It can possibly work out if the rain just clears about, and like in qualifying one, it just started to clear out, and one just came from the underground to the skies.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what's going to be happening here. We'll see how it all works out. It's going to be a very interesting end to the Grand Prix with a few drivers going on that alternate strategy. Cartboy on the medium compound tires. Could he be going long? Those tires survive? That's the question. I mean, right now, rain conditions out on track right now. These wet conditions all over the track. But Cartboy's tires, will they last?
I don't think they will last because tyre wear wise, mediums and softs can really easily wear out if you play them wrongly.
Agreed. Yep, I definitely agree with you on that one. I think the mediums are just not the best tires at this stage in the Grand Prix, and I think the degradation, like you mentioned, is going to be really bad because you're already going to be, those back tires are going to be terrible coming into these laps, you know. They're gonna, because you're spinning all about. You have so much wheel spin off of that last after those corners, you know. And so those tires are going to be like 40%, where the front tires are going to be like 12%. You know, there's a huge difference there. But it looks like Clarkie's going to lead us away with a great start by the Red Bull. Ooh, he's weaving back and forth, trying to get temperature in the car, in the tires. King David now trying to make the move on the Red Bull driver. Let's see how this all works out. Lights right there as well. Are they going to make this 3 wide? Does it come down to Tamburello? Who's going to try to make the move? Is it King David? He's going to try and stick it around the outside of the Red Bull, coming down into Tamburello. A little bit of contact, I do believe, with the two. A little bit of wheel baiting, but King David gets ahead of the Red Bull, and that was critical for him to take the lead of the Grand Prix. But Clarkie coming back around the outside, which turns to the inside line, but he cannot get past. Clarkie stays in P2, now trying to defend against Lights, who's going to send it down the inside into Toza. We go, and King David right there as well. Lights trying to make the move. Clarkie gets ahead, now tries to make the opportunity to make the move on the McLaren driver. This is a 4-way fight, and this will definitely continue.
It can 100% continue here. I was literally about to shoot and speak about when you stopped, and there's a big fight for the podium here, and for the race win, because Lights, Clarkie, Josh getting in the mix. Well, now Josh is now not really struggling. King David goes very deep into that chicane there. Might give him some struggles as Lights. Will he pull out to the right? Will he pull out to the left? He'll stay down the middle and try and get the slipstream off of Clarkie.
Well, let's see. The slipstream is going to be super powerful around here. I think let's get telemetry on screen right here. It's King David using all that ERS. Same with Clarkie. Same with Lights. Everyone using ERS. They're all trying to make the move. As here goes Clarkie, trying to go around the outside at the Tamburello chicane. Let's see if this works out. Clarkie and the McLaren of King David side by side. Who's going to get ahead? It is Clarkie that gets ahead for now. Lights trying to come back at the McLaren, who goes a little bit wide. Lights might have the opportunity to make the move. Into the Villeneuve chicane we go as the AlphaTauri. Going to try and go down the inside. Oh, there's contact. Lights in the wall and out of the Grand Prix. Lights is out of the Grand Prix. The pole position driver is out, and King David and Lights make contact. Lights out of the race, and this is devastation and drama on lap 20 here at WCR.
I have never expected this thing in my life. What a fight this was, and that was such a bad thing to finish as an outcome.
Super unfortunate, absolutely unfortunate, of course, as that just really affected Lights' championship hopes, as well as King David and Lights. They were side by side, and it just didn't work out. I really didn't think it worked out there, and unfortunately, it didn't work out for Lights, who's out of the Grand Prix. I'm sure the stewards will be looking into that incident, though. Yeah,
the FIA will have their says on those very, very tricky kind of decisions to overcome. And it can possibly go into further administration.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how that all works out. The stewards will do their job, and we'll continue to commentate on this one. We'll continue as we see Josh and Zero side by side into Tamburello. And let's get a good commentary on this as Josh now trying to make the move on Zero.
Yes, Josh is now trying to make a move here on Zero. Bit of a weird one, because you got randomly put on the spot as King David is now starting to run away from the fight, and he doesn't want to get into the situation, which can possibly cause him to lose time and get his race win hopes quickly dashed, as now Josh is starting to separate time from his currently the man that he's currently fighting, Zero. It can possibly go into some crazy things. There can be contact. Anything can happen at this moment.
Yeah, agreed. I think this is going to be a crucial moment in the race, and this is for the championship, remember. So, I mean, yeah, Zero and Josh are battling for this one in terms of the championship. And right now, Zero is ahead of Josh in this Grand Prix. This is good for Zero's chances of the championship. But I don't know. How is this going to work out?
It could possibly work out into contact, which can possibly do damage to both drivers, and both can very much struggle for the two drivers, and it can possibly go into contact and things like that. And there is a fight for shaping up for P9. SpongeBob and 8,000 RPM. SpongeBob going a bit slow, not really lacking the pace there, because 8,000 RPM just gained 4/10 out of the Villeneuve chicane.
Yeah, I think that's working out for 8,000 RPM. He's in the points now, looking pretty good as Game for Life spins off at the Villeneuve chicane. But yeah, I think you're right. I think 8,000 RPM starting to gain a little bit of time on SpongeBob now. It's quite surprising though, because SpongeBob is on 5 Leopold intermediates. But I wonder, is it just because of the conditions? Look at the conditions out on track. We're not seeing too much rain. The clouds are starting to lift. The track is getting drier. I think we could be seeing dry compound tires towards the end of this race. It's going to be very, very exciting.
Yes, that is very true. It can possibly happen, but because look, judging by the clouds, there is still some grey up ahead. When they go into the final two corners, there is still some grey patches of clouds, so it might possibly happen, but I don't really think so.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it all works out. But right now we're having a nice battle for P7 as well. Troye has just gone ahead of Hella High, so the Ferrari now ahead of the Haas car, and Troye up into P7 now. Great to see that from the Ferrari team, and this is great too, because the thing is that we should probably focus on something that we haven't talked about too much in this Grand Prix: the penalties. The top 4 all have over 3 seconds time penalties, where Squads, Troy, and Hella High don't have any penalties. If Troy or Squads, or Hella High as well, could move up a few positions, get closer and closer to these drivers, they might be able to grab P1. One of them might be able to grab first place in this Grand Prix.
It is actually very, very possible, and the fact that everyone's separated by penalties, Squads might not get the race win. I mean, it depends if the top 4 gets even more penalties, because gap to leader-wise, Squads is 7 seconds behind Clarkey, and if he wants that to be good performance and get at least a race win, he needs to hope he gets at least within a second. What's happening here?
Clarkey into the pit lane, onto the soft compound tires. That is very bold from the Red Bull driver. The race leader comes into the pit lane on the softs.
That is actually a very weird strategy that can really change this races. So it can be a good decision, maybe not.
Well, let's find out. I want to get an onboard with the Red Bull driver. Let's take an onboard with him as he comes through. Ooh, it's actually, the softs actually looking pretty good. Let's see. I want to see when he shifts down a gear. He's up to 7th gear now, 6th now, 5th, 4th. Let's see, as he comes on the power, that's a pretty stable car, to be honest.
Yeah, it does look pretty stable, that car. So I don't think he's not going to do any mistakes, and there's lots of mess going into the final chicane of the track. I forgot what it was called. There's a big mess of lockups going into that braking point.
Oh yeah, I do believe there is a lot. That corner can be quite difficult. I think we're ready on board with the leaders coming into that section right now. I think it's called Rivatsa, if I'm not mistaken, at turn 17. Everyone into the pit lane. Everyone into the pit lane. It looks like Keen David pits, Zero pits, Josh pits, Squads into the pit lane. This is critical though. Could Clarkey grab P7 P1 in this race? Could he jump ahead of these guys? Let's find out. Troy now leads the Grand Prix with everyone else into the pit lane. I'm going to run on board with Clarky and see where he comes out.
Yeah, it depends on where he comes out. Clarky actually gets a purple sector 3, so those softs are really being it's a really big donation kind of thing. So anything can happen, but Clarky, everyone's on the softs if you just noticed. Well, not everyone, because someone else is on the mediums. But still, everyone on the softs. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think everyone's chosen to go for the softs now. I think only Game for Life and Cartboy are on the mediums, and of course the two leaders are still in the intermediates as Clarky goes down the inside on Cartboy, who's on those medium compound tires. But yes, to answer your question there, I think it's a great start by everyone to pit onto the softs. Great strategy by Clarky. Oh, as Game for Life retires in the session, that is a full course safety car that has been deployed. For the third time in this Grand Prix, a full course safety car has come out, and this is absolutely perfect for Troy and Deathless Tricky as they're going to pit and probably come out in the top 5.
I don't think they're going to come out in the top 5. I mean, possibly. I mean, if Josh does have the speed to catch up and the game will allow him to have, like, at least some bad delta, it can go a bit more forward into this thing, but so far it looks like he's going to be reborn here in P5 when the race leader comes out, so Troy. So Clark is going to take P1, as you said earlier, as you pretty much jinxed it earlier. Oh no, Clarky. Troy's going to be P3, maybe P4. Yes,
it's
P4 will be P5, maybe.
And it might even be P6 and 7. It's going to be P7.
That's a big switcheroo. Oh my goodness, there was almost contact with Troy and King David when Troy got released out of the pits, just going down the pit lane. So, almost contact.
Yeah, there was almost contact there. That was a little close for calls, you know. I mean, very surprising there. But yeah, I think you're right. They lost a lot of positions there. Surprisingly, they didn't come out in the top 5. To be honest, I was kind of expecting Tartboy to pit, but he stayed out in the medium compound tire, so that's great for him. We'll see how that all works out.
Yeah, we'll see how that all works out, and hopefully it can go pretty well.
Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting. You know, we'll see how it works out. I think Tartboy on the medium compound tires, could he hold off the soft runners? It's definitely possible. I think this is good for CPI 0, though, because he's going to be able to try and overtake Cartboy, get some more points in this Grand Prix. We will find out. This is also good for Cartboy because he might be able to still win this Grand Prix because of the penalties. This could help out him, too.
Yes, it can actually decently help him, whereas almost everyone other than Cartboy is on the soft compound tires. Some of them old, some of them not. I mean, only Cartboy and Pro Striker's tires are pretty old. I mean, Cartboy's 8-9 laps old, and Pro Striker's 5.
Very interesting. Oh, his death was tricky. He's out of the race. He's retired in the pit lane, I do believe.
That can possibly go ahead with the safety car, but it's probably going to go in this lap.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it will come in this lap. That's most likely what's going to happen in today's race. The safety car will come in, but now the Death was Tricky has retired. We have lost Michael, Dodoligo, Lights, Game for Life, and Death was Tricky, all 5 out of the race. And unfortunately, that is those 5 out of the Grand Prix. They will come back stronger at the next one, most likely. And we'll see what they could do as of this time. On lap 27, we have Clarky leading us away from Cartboy, then 0. Josh, Squads, King David, Troy, Dutchman, Hella High, 8,000 RPM, SpongeBob, Mick Dutchface, and then we got Smurfing and Pro Striker rounding off the 14 drivers that remain in this race here in Imola.
Yeah, so we've already got P15 to P19 already sealed into the golden charts. But there's still the 14s is still pretty much yet to be decided because no one's been lapped yet. Not even a single person which is a pretty shocking as safety car is now going to go in this lap.
Yes, yeah, it is quite surprising, that no one's been lapped. It's great to see, that just shows the competition, my goodness, that has been shown. Oh, is Clarkie's been given a 5-second time penalty for severe collision with Cartboy. I didn't see any contact. Did you see any contact between the two?
No, I didn't see one piece of contact. I was just on board with Josh, because I think he's going to get a good start here as he speeds down the straight. No, it's not. It's going to be a reverse Uno card, and Zero's going to have the best start.
Yeah, Zero got the better start there, and now he's going to be on the back of Carboy. This is pretty good for Zero's chance of the championship, as now he is much faster than Carboy coming through the exit of Tamburello. Is he going to try and make a move, possibly down into the Villeneuve chicane? No, he does not. There's not enough space. You have to be at least... Carboy makes a mistake. That allows Zero to go down the inside and make the move up into second place. That was perfect for Zero. He moves up into second place of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Josh right in the back of Carboy now. I think those mediums are starting to hurt Carboy just a little bit.
Yeah, he's starting to injure the car because they are pretty old, and Carboy does have a 5-second penalty as Josh... Holy, and he's now dropping back into P5 now because he's almost had a spin. No, look, oh, there's contact between Squads and Josh. Oh, there was just Josh has got squeezed into the curb and had nowhere to go.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened there. Unfortunate to see that from Josh and Squads. It looks like both made a little bit of contact. I hope there wasn't any wing damage. Did you see any wing damage to the Alpine?
No, I'm just going to check out right now. No, there doesn't look like there's any damage.
Okay, great. That's great news for Josh. Well, he's got to defend, though, against Keen David, who's coming in pretty fast. Same with Troy as well. A nice little battle for P5 forming up here. Also, Squads on Cartboy. I think Cartboy's tires are just dying a little bit, and that's not affecting their end result. By the way, we have to keep an eye on Clarkie. He still has that 5-second time penalty. So Clarkie still looking to get that gap to 0, and he has to make sure he gets that gap. So we'll find out.
We will 100% find out here in this race, because it can possibly go into some dirty driving. You never know. It can go into chaos. Anything can happen. If I mean anything, I mean anything.
Yeah, anything can happen in this race. It's proved it just by reviewing everything that's happened. It's been a crazy Grand Prix, a very astonishing Grand Prix, of course. And, I mean, there's still much more action to come in this race, and, of course, the season as well. Troy right on the back of King David as well. Troy trying to make the move, possibly into Ravazza. We go, no, he can't make the move, but someone that is trying to make the move is Josh, right on the back of Squads, who's trying to make the move on Cartboy. A nice battle for P3 between almost 5 different cars here. This is looking really interesting.
Yeah, it is looking very, very interesting for the fight here. For P3 as Squads was trying to make a move on Cartboy. I wasn't seeing that much other than the fight for P3 here, because Squads, Josh and Cartboy all are fighting for that P3 golden jewel. Well, not really golden, bronze jewel. And as everyone rounds this corner with 3 laps to go, anything could happen, as now just going up the hill, flat round there. It's still fighting as Josh was now trying to pull out to the left there, but nothing really happened there.
Yeah, quite surprising to know. I think everyone's trying everything right now. They've just got a few more laps to do so, and they know that. They know they have that. And here's the thing, too. Troy is going to grab P3 in the Grand Prix as it stands. Actually, it might be even P2 in the race. Let's quickly take a look at that as to the leader. Troy will grab P2 in this race. Hella High will grab P3 in this Grand Prix. That's how it's going to end up, if I'm not mistaken.
I think due to penalties, Cartboy will drop back. Josh is now P4, and I think SpongeBob's gonna probably finish last penalties wise. And as Crazy Dutchman's out of the race, so I'd say that back he's gonna be P13, and Dutchman's retiring in the pits here in the penultimate lap of this race.
Well, we're getting some great action up here. It may not be for like a huge podium contention for some of these drivers, but it is a great battle we're seeing right here. Troy gets passed into P6 now as Crazy Dutchman does retire from the session officially. Squad's now into P3, Josh into P4, King David now into P5, Troy P6, Cartboy P7 with Hella High and PA. I wonder if the Haas's are going to swap around for some strategy. I don't know exactly how that's going to work out though.
Yeah, we don't really know how to work out and to work that out. And Zero's got the pace because he just got purple sector 2. So I think Zero has won this race unless he does a mistake on the final lap of this race, and something he does not hope for to happen.
Yeah, we'll see how this works out. Zero most likely is going to win, like you mentioned. I think that's going to be great for him. It will be his first win since, I think, what was it, the Dutch Grand Prix? I want to say something like that. I can't remember exactly when he last won a Grand Prix, but he did win a few races. I think he won 2 races this season, and this will most likely be his 3rd win.
Sorry to interrupt, but what didn't he win in Monza? Because when I'm looking at the standings here at the Dutch Grand Prix, there was a big fight for P1 there, and then all of a sudden, Zero just randomly pulled away, like very much. So I think it was Zero who won in Monza as well.
Most likely it was in Monza. Yeah, that's probably what happened. I can't remember. I didn't commentate on that one, so it must have been Monza. I think you're right there. Well, Josh has got another penalty. That's going to promote, I think, squads up the table as well. That'll be good as well. As we come to the final few corners of this lap, Zero is going to take the checkered flag.
Yes, and it will be Zero's day. As now he comes around the final corner. It's going to speed down the straight. Clark will be celebrating, but not for long. And Zero wins the Emilia-Romagna Autodromo Nazionale Dino Ferrari Grand Prix. What a race this has been.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from Zero there. He takes the checkered flag. He really did deserve that one. P1 for Zero here in Imola. A very, very well-deserved victory for Zero. He extends his championship lead over Josh. That's exactly what he needed. That's exactly what he needed. After Josh winning the last one, now he wins this one. This championship fight is on.
It is very much on. This is going to be a great fight for the championship, rounding once again with there's still lots of races still on the cards, but it's still gonna be a good one.
Yeah, it really will be. I think it's gonna be very exciting to see what the few remaining races left will provide. It's gonna be incredible to see what these drivers can do. But yeah, it will be very, very good.
It will be very, very good. And squads, P4 for a reserve in the Alfa Romeo. That's gonna give Alfa Romeo a big smile on their faces, because they just got 12 points from a reserve. They should not be angry, because now they'd be on 50 points because the other Alfa Romeo DNF'd.
Yeah, that's exactly that's exactly what happened, you know? We'll see.
Check out race. Oh my days. Check out race director.
Let's take a look at that.
Incidents.
Yeah.
What?
There's going to be a lot of incidents there, it looks like.
Which one was the most cleanest? Let's see.
I'm not sure, but that's the end of the race. Zero on top for Williams. He started 5th, finished 1st with Clarky in P2, fastest lap as well, and Troy on the podium as well for Ferrari, finishing in P3.
Yeah, it was lap 8 which was the most cleanest, because every single lap got at least a warning, and there was only one in lap 8, so yeah, lap 8's the cleanest. Wow, wow indeed.
Definitely, yeah, that's sometimes Imola can be very difficult when Thank you so much for joining me in the commentary booth, man. I hope you enjoyed that one. And also, what's your thoughts on all that, on that race?
I am actually speechless and flabbergasted on that one, and let's be honest, I think this is going to be one of the best racing leagues out there in the pack of one of these races.
I definitely have to agree with you on that one. There's going to be, I think, a really good show for this championship as well. I think you're absolutely correct. This is going to be a race that I think a lot of people will be, or a league that a lot of people will be talking about in the future. So, gotta say again, thank you so much for commentating with me. Brilliant comms as usual. You guys, you're so good at comms. You know, it's a pleasure to commentate with you, and super fun as well.
Thank you very much. You too as well.
Thank you.
It's going to be a fun ride when we commentate the rest of these. I think next is going to be Singapore. I think next is Marina Bay.
I think you are correct. It's either Singapore or Japan. I think the calendar is a little bit unknown in terms of dates and stuff like that, but I think it will be either Singapore or Japan. But I think you are right. I think it's going to be the Singapore Grand Prix. I'll have to get confirmation on that later on. But guys, it's been a pleasure to commentate for you guys. We've both enjoyed it. To commentate for the WCR Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. That's the results. That's the comms for it. And that is another exciting race to add on to the WCR races that have been completed in Season 5. So until next time, guys, we'll see you all in the next one, which should be the Singapore Grand Prix at the Marina Bay Circuit.
Singapore.